Hey Leo, how's it going? We are here with a timeless reading. The first card that we have out is Two of Swords. Okay, having Two of Swords, this can be a card of indecision, seeing it be connected with Knight of Cups. This can be trying to figure out what you want to say, if you want to say something, if you do want to say something, like what should that sound like, what should that look like. This can also be about a decision to make a move based off of what you want, based off of how you feel, and because of having this Two of Swords, it can show that the choice hasn't been made yet. Like there needs to be a sense of internal agreement about this before you can move forward. Okay. I am seeing Ten of Cups. This feels like possibly, potentially making a move in the direction of Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups would feel like I would be happy doing this. I would feel on board. I would be in internal agreement with this. Four of Cups. Four of Cups. It's kind of feeling like a different energy to me. Okay. So this is kind of looking like a storyline between two people. If you have reached out to somebody and you've sent them a message, you may not have heard back from them, because with the Four of Cups, Hermit, and King of Wands, this can be something that hasn't been done yet. It can, like, sure, it can be your energy as well. For some of you too, I'm wondering if you're waiting on a message from someone, or if they did send you a message and then you haven't said anything, like you may not have responded to them. Because this Four of Cups, Hermit, and King of Wands is looking to me like something came in and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking about it, but I didn't do anything about it. And so it feels like action has not been taken on this side of things. But I wonder too if there's something going on where it's like, for some reason, having that Two of Swords there feels like waiting on a decision. But I do almost get the feeling of, if a choice has been made, okay, so I'm seeing it be one of two ways. This can be like the initial choice to say something hasn't been made yet, hasn't been done yet, or it can mean that there was a choice to send a message, to communicate something, and then the person on the other end didn't do something about that yet. So it's going to be one of those, because I'm seeing something where like a choice wasn't made. It depends on whose end, like depending on like who you are in the reading, it's gonna depend on who's doing what, essentially. But yeah, for those of you that like this is all your energy, there can be something that you want to do but you haven't acted on it yet, and you can be trying to get to the bottom of, why am I feeling like I want to say something, but then like, why haven't I done it yet? Why do I feel like I don't want to like have to make this choice? And I'm seeing that there's something that I want to do. I'm seeing there's a move that I want to make, and instead of doing it, I'm just thinking about it. And also too, simultaneously, I'm thinking about what I would feel happy doing, and I do want to be making choices on behalf of my pursuit of happiness. And so you can be in a state of indecision as well. Even though it feels like like moving forward with this and doing this is the obvious choice. At the same time, this can just be something that you haven't done yet. Why? Yes, no, yes, no. Maybe to make sure that it's really coming from the right place. That there is a clear, aware of the intention behind why choices are being made. I'm seeing there be a notion of stillness, of calming. Feels like rather than, I'm not seeing a rush here. Four of Swords and Hanged Man is really taking time to reflect and really taking time to review. To make sure that everything is being seen clearly. And that's what we are working with. And cooperating with all of the elements that are at play here. So maybe there can be stuff about delays as well, things maybe feeling like they're being delayed. What do we have here? I'm seeing a Five of Swords and I am seeing a Moon. This can feel very uncomfortable with the unknown. Like, unless I know definitely what would happen, I don't want to make a choice here. That it looks like that's part of it. That's why there's a stalling. That's where this is coming from. Meaning, if there's a part of you, based off of what you're feeling, you're like, this is the move that I want to make. But then there's another part of you that's like, no, don't do this. I'm seeing it be connected with like feeling uncomfortable, like an insecurity even with, if I do that, I'm inviting the unknown and feeling kind of, I think this is like the ego saying, no, don't do that, because then you don't know what's going to happen. And then what if something happens that you don't like or that you don't want? And so it's coming from a place of fear. It's coming from a place of defense. It's coming from a place of ego trying to protect. I feel like there's going to be a softening. Okay, you're working with the part of yourself that sometimes holds you up when something needs to be done, when choices need to be made, when things need to be clarified, seen. You're working with like the duality, I think, of what motivates choices that are made. Specifically connected with how we are perceiving things and the narrative that we build as framework, supporting sort of the bigger picture. So this feels very much like heart motivation versus a fear motivation. So we have that. Then also trying to work with the part of yourself that is like I'm accountable, I'm responsible for the moves that I make. I get the final say. I determine what's motivating the choices that I'm making. Working with that part of yourself that takes initiative when you want to take initiative. So then there's that. Then we have trying to collect oneself to sort of get where you need to be mentally and emotionally to work within this situation. And then I'm also seeing too that this feels like it's coming at a time in your life where this is a phase that is connected with nurturing springs of joy and fulfillment, happiness, connection, peace, equilibrium, resonance, balance within your life. And I think also too, this is coming at a time where there can be some stuff that's being integrated as well, and learning how to do that with sort of what you're working with, seeing what creates delay, seeing through. It feels like if there's something that you want to do and then your ego being like, no, don't do that. And even assigning this ego's defenses as like some type of logic behind maybe not doing something, stopping yourself from doing something. It feels like seeing that part of yourself for what it is. And maybe that it doesn't make so much sense for what you want to be doing, because there's going to need to be vulnerability. If you're making a choice based off of how you feel and connected with your heart, there is a need to sort of like allow that to move through you, allow that to be expressed. And when expressing something that feels genuine, there's always the chance of whatever is going to happen, and that could be supported, that could be rejected, and there's vulnerability within that. And so this feels like working with self in a way where it ultimately comes down to what you want, and if you do what you want, there's vulnerability in that, versus not doing what you want and maybe like protecting yourself from potential, keyword potential, of pain, rejection, getting hurt, things not working out, disappointment, especially when disappointment is something you know. Disappointment is something that you're working with. Things have happened before. What if things happen again in a way that I don't like? I have expectations. How am I going to come to terms with that? What if that doesn't happen though, because it's not guaranteed that things aren't going to work out? Like maybe they actually will work out, and then what do I want to do about that? It's like this whole thing that's taking place here. I don't see you as needing to rush, because we start with Two of Swords and then we end with Temperance. So this is, you're finding your way through this, and so you're going to get to a conclusion. You don't need to rush yourself. This is you working with energy that you are slowly but surely bringing light to, bringing awareness to, becoming aware. Stuff that you weren't aware of before. And so given that that's going on, it can be quite a process here that you are moving through, understanding yourself better, especially on a more deep psychological level, understanding things, uncovering things, and also seeing what gets in the way. Seeing something that I feel attracted to within the reading is that energy of the Hanged Man. And the Hanged Man is going to be the difference between truth, clarity, like that higher truth, versus what is illusion and delusion, or based off of something that's telling you it's true, but then it's not really. And I do feel like these are the things that would really get in the way of you making the moves that feel you most clearly want to be doing that. So the stuff that's really stopping or delaying you from making the moves that you want to be making and getting connected with what you want to get connected with, being in those situations you want to be in. I think also two things that this feels like Five of Swords is coming through and saying, like, you can only have peace of mind if you keep yourself safe, and don't make these moves that your heart is saying, I want to do this. And this feels like that's a delusion that's being dispelled. Like, seeing that differently. Because that may have been something that you told yourself, like, I don't have to put myself through potential agony if I just, like, don't make myself vulnerable. Meanwhile, it's like you can't get peace. And so this feels like recognizing that the peace is found in following your heart, and that's where you find that sense of alignment. And so it can be different than how you thought it was before. Whereas before it could have been all about, if I keep myself guarded, if I keep myself safe, if I don't have to go and tap into that unknown territory, that's how I'm going to feel at peace. That's how I'm going to feel safe. But then feeling like you're blocking access to connection, and connection being that thread that you seek to walk the path of, to follow that trail of. And also too, I think, like, loving yourself and having compassion for yourself as well when you go through this, because you see that the Five of Swords is just like the attempt of your ego to protect you, because it thinks that that's what's best for you. Like the playing it safe, or the not allowing you to get vulnerable, because then what are we going to do if you get hurt? It's just that, like, overprotective part of yourself that is like, you stay here and you stay small, and then we can keep you safe. And then the part of you that's connecting with a higher wisdom that recognizes that, like, that's no way to be living, and that these things are being integrated now. That if you stay in a place where you are protected beneath armor, there is that disconnect. And within that disconnect, there is that lack of peace. There is that lack of joy. There is that lack of spark. There is that lack of imagination. Just a disconnect in general. And so I do feel like maybe stuff that you had learned, and narratives, stuff that you'd experienced, narratives that you'd built around those experiences that are connected with something other than, or like threaded or painted with something other than total and absolute truth. This really does feel like dispelling those things now. Like the undoing and the unraveling of it. Because there is a, like, spiritual ascension, an upgrade, an expansion, a growth, whatever you want to call it, that's happening right now. And that there's a deeper understanding that's settling in, and you are in the process of aligning with that. So that is what's happening currently. I think there's a big addressing of, if I have a feeling to go this direction, why am I also getting a feeling not to? And seeing where that's coming from. It's like the stuff that stops you from going towards what you want to go towards, and going towards, I think, making moves on the path of your pursuit of happiness. What's going on with that? I think also uncovering too, like, if I've been telling myself that I'm safe staying underneath that armor and I'm doing that, then why am I not happy? So then seeing that, like, checking in with that narrative, that it's because that's based off of something that isn't true. It's because it's a narrative of a different part of yourself. And so there's that, like, that's not adding up. And so there, you're seeing this, like, miscalculation, I think, in the like effect of something. So if there's that staying beneath the armor, not allowing myself to be vulnerable, but this is how, like, my ego is telling me we're going to stay safe, and that's where I think I'm going to feel peaceful. But then being like, okay, it's not adding up. Something isn't feeling right. Why am I feeling disconnected? Why am I feeling like this? Why am I feeling like that? And it's like, it's not feeling good to me. It's not feeling happy. I'm feeling like something is missing, or why does everything feel so blah, or why am I numb, or why am I blue? It's like all of that stuff that feels like a lack of connection, and a lack of, I think, nurturing as well of self, or like what nourishes you. And so seeing again, like that's not adding up then, but then if I've been telling myself that, or like this person has told me that, you know, because this can come from other people, we've internalized the like advice that they've given us. You can be like, well, if that's adding up to this, like where did I go wrong? Like where does the logic go wrong? And it feels like that's what's being worked through currently. So yeah, and this can all be coming from a place of like you've had challenging things that have happened, and so this narrative was created to sort of protect you and keep you safe from being hurt again, and thinking that that was going to be the way. And now this is being addressed because it feels like there's a disconnect there that you're becoming aware of. And I think too, seeing this, there's more of a like, I want to be making moves that are connected with my joy and my internal values, my emotional values. And so because of that part of you coming online and saying, that's what I want to be pursuing, the things that my heart calls me in the direction of, this logic is now having to be addressed. And so it's sort of coming up center stage to be reviewed. And I think really updated, because before you could have been like, this is just how I need to function in a way where there's that armor. And you've been going through that and now getting to this point of like, I want more, or I want to feel more connected, or this just like really isn't hitting for me. And so all of this stuff is coming up now, like especially the belief systems are coming up now, and it's going to be a bit to go through. This is going to be a process to go through, and that's also why you're meant to be patient with yourself, compassionate with yourself. Do not rush yourself through this. Like, go at the pace that you want to go at, because this is a lot of stuff that's being uncovered right now, a lot of stuff that's being unwritten, rewritten, things that are being dispelled, unraveled, only to reveal the truth underneath. It's like picking something up that was dirty and thinking that that's what it has, like mud and dust on it that's caked on and dried up, and you think that that's what the thing looks like. And this is like a washing off of that, and it's revealing like the true form of something underneath. And in having that clear perception, it makes all the difference. Whereas before you were going off of what that thing was when there was that dirt on it, now getting to the bottom, now getting to the core, now getting to the essence, it allows for something different to be taking place, and that your perception is different. Like the like relative truth that you're working with is changing now. So that's what you're up to. That's what I'm seeing be going on here. Give yourself time, because this can be a lot to take on, not just on an emotional level, but also on a psychological level, and you don't need to overwhelm yourself. When I say overwhelm, I mean like doing too much and then feeling like you need to run. It feels like you like wading into this step by step with what you feel comfortable with. That really is the way to go here with this, especially because of how, as there is the peeling back layers, it just feels like it's going to be a better method to do this incrementally, so it won't be so much of a shock to the system, is more so the feeling that I get. You know, when it's like too much too soon, and there can be a reversion because of that. Like it's kind of like the rubber band gets pulled and then it's gonna snap back. This feels like if you do something without there being like that great tension or like all at once, that this is going to be a more smooth transition. That's what I'm getting at. A more smooth transition. because you're getting through to see like what you weren't seeing before, perspectives that you had before, things that you're releasing because it's time to be releasing that, because there is a new higher truth to incorporate, and the process of doing that. And so this is something that takes time. And this is also something that like on a psychological and emotional level, this is a lot of stuff that's going on, because you're seeing places where you have where there's armor, where there are walls, where there is like anger still, or stuff that hasn't been let go of. There's still conflict, that has psychological conflict that has not been integrated, that has not been worked out. You're addressing all of that stuff. So as these things are being addressed, you get closer and closer to what feels right. And that is how you are on track, moving in the direction of your 10 of Cups. So this is what you're currently doing. So know that if you're like, how is what I'm doing over here, trying to integrate this stuff and working on that, going to lead me to what I want on a deeper level, and what feels right to me on a deeper level, and feels like I feel at home there and at peace there on a deeper level, it's very much connected. Because when you're working with opposites, it's going to link them together in the polarities. And so working with that 5 of Swords, which is the thing where there's all of that armor and disconnect from the heart space, working with that and dispelling the old narratives and the releasing that's happening there, it then opens up so you feel very much connected and very much like you're sitting within here, and that being very important. The heart chakra is always so important for Leo placements, because that is where the maneuvering works from, as Leo is very connected with the heart space. So it can feel in general like there is a disconnect when there are issues with the heart, and there can also be issues with the back and also issues with the spine, among other things. And so this is a whole healing process that is happening. And it's not just like you think this way or you have this conflict for no reason. This is based off of things that you have gone through, that it just made sense at the time for you to take on these certain belief systems and to be carrying certain things with you, because it could have felt just like too much to integrate at the time. But now you're moving into a place where you're able to integrate things that have not been integrated. You're able to work out things that could not be addressed before, that you're ready to now, because of where you are within your process. And that's why this is taking place now, and why it didn't take place before. So also recognize that too. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. You are exactly on track with all of this, and you are exactly on time. I'm seeing Virgo, Pisces, and Sagittarius, and also Neptune. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.